Good evening. Finish this statement. I am. If I were to finish this, I would say something like, I'm a woman. I am black. I'm a college graduate. I'm a lover of happy hours, and I'm not a pet person. We often think of identity as a very fixed and stable thing, and sometimes it is. But there are other very real parts of who we are that we get to decide for ourselves, and that has a huge impact on our lives. I made a far-reaching decision about who I was back in college after a conversation with my mom. Up until then, both of my parents had taught me that I could do just about anything that I set my mind to. They showed me, through example, resilience and success, despite one's position or station in life. And so I did believe that I could do just about anything that I set my mind to, until this conversation with my mom. My mom, a 4.0 college graduate, told me that she did not pursue her dream to become a forensic scientist in order for her to take a stable job with health benefits to help my dad in taking care of our young family, or their young family. Now, growing up, I was so proud to have a mom who worked and who also prioritized us, her family, her children. But in that moment, for the first time, I didn't think I could do anything I set my mind to. I felt like I did have to make a choice. I had to choose between pursuing my own dreams my parents helped cultivate in me, and having a family of my own one day. And so I made a choice. I did want to pursue my dreams. I wanted to be a career woman, and I did not want to be a family woman. And I consider that choice and that identity just as final as my race, my gender, and my aversion to pets. So I consider that identity just as stable as my race, my gender, and my aversion to pets. So I made a decision about who I was, and I embraced it with all of that I had, like many of us do.
That's okay.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. In a way, when we make that decision, it kind of makes life easier. We know who we are, we know where we fit in, and we either are something or we are not. And it kind of makes life easier in that way. And then, of course, life and our experiences has a way of validating that we did make that right decision. When I moved abroad in 2014, I was dating someone still living in the United States. It was a challenge. Love, and not for the first time, felt like a potential threat to my dreams, but not for the reasons you might think. The problem was less about the distance between us and more about how things would happen when we were close together again. There were really tense Skype conversations about where I would have to move to be with him. He enthusiastically talked about how our life will look together. And while that was all well and good, it made me feel really uneasy because it didn't necessarily fit in with my set identity or what I wanted for my life. Not to mention, it was a little pushy. So when we broke up, that happened. When we broke up, I was relieved. I could stay where I was in the Dominican Republic for as long as I liked. So for obvious reasons, I ended up staying a lot longer than I had originally planned to. But here's the thing. Who we are right now might not be the person that we need to be in our next opportunity or in the next phase of our lives. And I'll say that one more time. Who we are right now, the person you are, that I am, might not be the person that we need to be in our next opportunity or in the next phase of our lives. Even as we might accept that statement as true, we still experience extreme discomfort at any sign or thought of any real change. Think about the major transition points in your life and how they made you relook and reconsider who you really were. When you brought home your first child from the hospital, you may have thought, like many of my friends have, I can't believe they left me in charge of this baby, right? Or becoming a spouse, moving to a new city that is very different from your hometown, aging, getting older, your own aging, and your parents, losing a job, or getting a big promotion. All of these moments make us question who we are and what we can handle. My moment of questioning came when I began to date someone with a child. As our relationship grew serious, so did my discomfort with the thought of joining this family. Because remember, I made my choice, and life with a child and a family did not resonate with me. Except, here's the thing. I kind of wanted it to. I did want it to, but I didn't know how. It felt almost like a personal betrayal to think that I would not be the person who I said I was, who I accepted I was, who I had grown to know and love as I was. It was a conversation with my mom that first sent me down that path of rigid self-definition and identity, but it was also what brought me back. Nearly 10 years after that initial phone conversation, she and I were hanging out, and I made a joke about me becoming domesticated. I thought it was funny because in my mind, I am the furthest thing from someone who could be domesticated or tamed. Someone who will soon slow down, stay home, have kids, and do things, all the things with them that she did so perfectly with us. I realize now that what I really wanted in that joke was for my mom to confirm my own feelings about how unlikely and unready I really felt for kids and for a family. It was like I was crying out, please, Mom, please let me know how ridiculous you also think it is for me to be that, so we can both laugh and I can feel better about saying no. So I can stay in the safe space that I'm familiar with, that I'm prepared for, where I have an understanding and a guarantee of how life works. But my mom did not laugh. She did not find me amusing. Her answer to my domestication was, and what's wrong with that? It was then that I knew that we can change, willingly change, who we sincerely believe we are and still be okay. I am so happy and so thankful that my mom ultimately found fulfillment in and outside of the home, even if it wasn't her original vision. As a working woman, that is very encouraging to me. But most importantly, it's taught me that our happiness is a moving target. What fulfills us, what makes life worth living, can and should and will change, and we must be ready to welcome it. When I made my decision about who I was back in college, I considered it final. I was this person, and that was it. It's kind of silly now, though, looking back and thinking that a college-era decision will really last that long. I mean, have you seen your Facebook memories? If you haven't yet, give it a few years, and Facebook will start reminding you what you used to say and do and wear, and you'll be very happy that you did not say the same. But seriously, we forget that we have the freedom to be fluid. The definition of a fluid is a substance that has no fixed shape and that easily yields to pressure. Our pressure is our changing and our evolving thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and life circumstances. And we are strong enough and we are malleable enough to adjust to a new role, to a new identity, or to a new dream, even if it is different from our own. So we have the freedom to be fluid. We can and should and we will adjust to new shapes. For me, to someone who wants a family, and to you, whatever it is that you haven't quite accepted yet. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with you or I embracing our fluid selves. Thank you.